Okay, let's start by testing our mics. Can you hear us? Do you hear my voice well? Or is there some kind of disconnection? Can you just comment if you can't hear me so we know that we don't start before you can actually hear what we're saying? We can see many people joining. Welcome. Hello from Tokyo. Hello, yeah. And we heard that the sound is great, so we can start. So, hello. My name is Jenni, and I'm from the Design Museum Helsinki. And behind the camera is Elias Broms, who is filming me right now. So we are now at the new exhibition Intimacy here at the Design Museum Helsinki. And we are just starting our online tour here in the exhibition. And today we have 3 special guests going through the exhibition with us. We have Annamari Vänskä, Jenni, Hokka, and Natalia Särmäkari, the 3 curators of this exhibition. You can see them here waving to you. And in this tour, the curators talk about the intimate relationship between fashion and human body. And through some case examples that they're going to show us in here in this exhibition space, they're going to show us how does this relationship translate into fashion. So remember that during the tour, you can always ask questions. Just type them in the chat box and we can see them, and we try to answer them as quickly as we can. But if there's something that's coming up, we're going to say you that, hey, great question, but we're going to get back to that later. So welcome everyone behind the screens, and welcome to our curators. And we're going to start with Annamari actually. So Annamari, you can join us here. I'm going to give you the mic here. So you can just go ahead.
Okay, hi. Hello everybody, and welcome to this virtual tour of the Intimacy exhibition here in Design Museum in Helsinki. I'm just going to briefly go through how this exhibition relates to what we have done with my other curators. So it is a part of a wider research project called Intimacy, Creative Work and Design, and this is in a way an outcome of that wider research project in which I and the 2 curators all work. The exhibition, it is divided into 7 different themes. And those themes shed light on the ongoing changes and politicization and digitalization of fashion. So in a way, this exhibition is at the intersection of politicization and digitalization. So what we see here in the exhibition is sort of old, sort of analog fashion items, but at the same time we also have some digital examples and wearable technology. And of course our perspective is Finland, so all the designers selected for the exhibition, curated for the exhibition, are Finnish or have Finnish roots. On a general level, we could say that politicization of fashion refers to this, the idea of a growing awareness of fashion's impact on environment and environmental issues. And all the designers selected for the exhibition have this as their starting point. So they have used design methods and materials that respect the planet. At the same time, and perhaps even more importantly, we have also curated designers for the exhibition who go from ideas of social engagement and see fashion as this field of creativity that is inclusive, celebrates diverse bodies and different cultures.
And from that perspective, what would be the first designer that you would like to present to us?
Yes, so we can go to this podium here, which is part of the theme intimacy, public intimacy. And all the designers here, they go from the idea that fashion is the place where notions of body, gender, sexuality, size, shape, and etc. are created and also challenged. And here we have one example, the designer Henna Lampinen, whose starting point is in body positivity and body size. As we can see from the display, we have different sizes of torsos here. So she has wanted to make room for the bodies that are not perhaps the ideal bodies of fashion. She feels that those bodies have been neglected far too long in fashion, and she has wanted to make room for those bodies.
What do you think is the most interesting point in Henna's design?
I think that in her designs, well, first of all, they are very exquisite designs. So she has put a lot of effort in making the design fit the body. So one of the problems that she has found is that the garments that are not made for the ideal body are often not designed at all. So she has wanted to design the garments well, and she has succeeded in that. And another thing that I really want to point out is also that she's kind of taking crafts into the world of fashion, and she has also used recycled materials, leathers and so forth.
Okay, that's very interesting and very precise work. What would be the next one you would like to point out?
We can go to this direction here, to the other part of the so-called catwalk or runway, as we like to call it. And here we have the design studio Norman Neskio, a Helsinki-based fashion brand. And their starting point in their design work is to challenge the norms of gender. Or in fact, what they want to do is not to design for any specific gender. They want to challenge our ideas about creating clothes only for women or only for men, and instead create garments of which the user can actually define what gender the garment is.
And is it so that all the clothes are unisex and they are all just black?
Yes, all their designs are black, and all their designs also go from the idea of genderlessness or unisex, as we also say. And now I've dropped the mic on the floor, but I hope it doesn't bother you too much. Maybe you can still hear me, I hope.
Yeah, I think that we're good. And Elias is now standing on the cord, so I think the accident is going to repeat itself. But now we're back on track.
Yes.
So you were talking about the unisex kind of way of thinking. I think that in Henna's work, she has designed for different kind of bodies, and in the other hand, the Norman Neskio kind of bypasses the body and designs androgynous clothes and only black. So these are like two different ways of looking at the diversity of different bodies and different kind of identities. Do you have any other examples that we could look at this from this perspective?
Yes, here besides Norman Neskio we have Ervin Latimer, a young designer, designer of the year of 2020, actually here in Finland, and his design work draws its inspiration from black queer cultures and the history of cross-dressing, so sexual subcultures, we could say, and how that translates into contemporary fashion design work. So here, for example, now what you see on the screen, we have one example from his design work, a look that combines a big pinstriped suit which is considered maybe the iconic garment from the male wardrobe, and a flower patterned dress. And what is more interesting also in Ervin's work is that he also wants to take a stand on body size, and he has decided that his garments are attached with these beautiful laces that we see on the torso of the mannequin torso. So in a way the garment adjusts to the body and not the other way around as it usually is.
I think that that's super interesting. And you were also telling me earlier about the like a feminist perspective that combines all these different kind of ways of thinking about gender and thinking about size.
Yes, indeed. All these designers that we have here on display, and the ones that I mentioned, but also other designers that we have here in the exhibition, you could say that they go from the idea of feminist ideas of challenging the norms of the body, gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, age. So they want to make room for different types of bodies, different types of expressions of gender, and not just a very narrow type that we are accustomed usually.
I think
fashion.
that one piece that we're going to look next with Natalia it has a little bit similar features to this one. So I think that we should maybe find Natalia. She's already somewhere here.
Yes. Interestingly enough, the work that we are going to see next is also about lacing and putting garments together, but from an altogether very different perspective. I'm going to hand you the mic, Natalia, so you can continue.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Annamari, and welcome Natalia to join us in this live. And yes, the mic is...
It's okay?
It's wrong way around.
Okay.
Try to put the soft side out. Yes, that's
okay.
great.
Nice.
Now we're all set. So you can go.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm happy that you came to see our virtual tour, and I'm Natalia Särmäkari. I'm a co-curator of this exhibition, and I'm also a doctoral researcher at Aalto University, and my research focuses on the digital aspects of fashion and fashion design. And as Annamari said, also this work is related to lacing and bodies. This designer behind this label, the name of the label is Selfassembly, and a designer behind it, Matti Limatainen, he has developed this modular system where the users can assemble these garments themselves, and thus they can also decide what kind of shapes these garments have. And he has developed this special loop and hold system that doesn't require any kind of machinery or sewing machines or so. But he also thinks that making their own garments will kind of provide an experience of embodied engagement with the garment. So
when you do this by yourself, can you just add any pieces together, or can you adjust the size, or are they just like a ready-made package that you just put together?
I think he has different concepts. One of them is with the ready packages, but I think he's also developing packages that can be adjusted according to the users' or customers' wishes. But this designer is also really interesting in terms of his approach to design. So he kind of shares his designership with the machine. He teaches his own embodied and tacit knowledge to the machine, to the computer. He develops algorithms that generate designs. So, yeah.
And the Intimacy exhibition here at the Design Museum Helsinki talks about the embodiment and the relationship between the physical body and the digitality, yes, but also about the ways that the human body is exhibited in the digital world or digital platforms.
Yes, and we can go to the next work.
Which is actually quite close by.
Yeah, it's really close by. So, well, basically a bit of a context. So, social media has changed a lot the fashion culture and how designers design also. So first of all, during the last 15 years, approximately, while we've had social media, it has kind of opened the closed fashion system and opened possibilities for the public to participate in conversation about fashion and also even create themselves fashion and the fashion culture, contribute to the fashion culture. And on the other hand, the dominance of the screens have had an influence on how clothes are designed. So the emphasis is usually on the front side because that's what we see in online stores, for example. And some have argued that this has kind of eroded the garment construction skills lately. And this designer, Autuas Okkonen, he approaches this topic critically, and he has created this kind of a parody of designing clothing that has emphasis on the upper side of the garment, so the side that we can see on a screen in social media or in a Zoom call, or so that's very flamboyant, and the rest of the piece is simple, and this is how he also wants to tell how we build kind of fake personas in social media.
Yeah, it's almost like green screen in the bottom half. So both of these last couple of examples are utilizing the digital world in the design, but the physical human body has been the starting point in both of these last two designs. In the next example, I heard that we are going to see clothing that you can't actually wear.
Yes.
What's that about? And should we go see?
Yes, so some fashion practices have moved entirely to the virtual world, and some designers design virtual clothing that doesn't really exist in the real world, in the physical world. This phenomenon is called digital fashion, and we have there one example of this new line of practice. Should we go inside?
Yeah, let's go inside.
Yes. So we have here one work of the fabricant. It's a Finnish-Dutch company that is a kind of a forerunner in this area, and they have been doing since 2018 this digital-only fashion. So they are digital-only fashion house, and they say that they waste nothing but data. So all of the collections and clothing that they make is only digital. And they also want to contest the fashion industry, the traditional fashion industry that has a huge environmental impact. So they want to avoid the piles of clothing, and that therefore they chose this path. And these clothes can be worn in virtual spaces, on avatars, or on photographs. And this particular piece is also made in collaboration with neural networks, so with kind of artificial intelligence. So they fed data from Paris Fashion Week, and then the neural networks then created or generated these kind of sketches, and based on these sketches the designer created 3D models of kind of used their imagination to create 3D models. And it's important to point out that these clothes, they're not just images or representations, they're also they're models, 3D models that have all the same data that the physical garments would have. So material data and the pattern and everything, all the details.
So they're like digital products that you can buy?
Yes. So, and you can buy them and they can be also authenticated with blockchain technology and then they become unique and they become kind of collectibles, artworks that people can invest in and hope that they can maybe even sell them for bigger amounts of.
So maybe later, maybe in the future we could wear that one during this Instagram live.
Yes.
And I would own that piece and I would put it on during this show.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's not even future. I think it's already sort of possible. So.
Okay, that's so interesting. Should we talk a little bit more about the digital side of design? We could maybe look Jenni from the exhibition space.
So yes, we could continue to. So this theme was called intimate experience. So these digital experiences of fashion, and now we're going to a very different kind of experience, which is the very intimate relationship between the body and technology, but in a very, very kind of fleshy way. So Jenni will introduce the
some wearable technology.
Wearable technologies and room with the theme measured intimacy.
Hello Jenni, and thank you Natalia.
Thank you.
And here's the mic change again. We're doing it better and better every time.
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about the theme of this room, but could you tell us in a short way what we're going to see in this room?
Yes, my name is Jenni Hokka and I'm one of the curators, and I'm also a researcher of the design of wearable technology. And that's what we're going to see here. So welcome.
So in this tour we have talked about the variation of different bodies and also about digital bodies, and some cases like in the fabricant case where the body actually doesn't exist. But in this room we have wearable technology. What do you feel is the relationship to the body with these items?
Well, in wearable technology, human body is very essential. It's a starting point for all the design. It's made for human body and it has to adapt to it. And wearable technology measures the intimate body function data that cannot be, and this data can't be reached in any other ways. So in a way it expands our senses.
So what do we see in this window or in this display?
Here we have shorts, sporting shorts and shirt by a Finnish company called Myontech. These are used in high-level sport training, and they are measuring muscle activity. And those orange and blue and black shorts, they are the prototypes of these shorts, the early versions. You can see that the wires are still outside, whereas in the modern version, they are inside the fabric. There are sensors that are measuring the muscle activity, but also movement of the body.
And you were telling us that these kind of products expand our senses. What did you mean with that?
Well, you know, these are measuring muscle activity. The other products here are, and also like heart rate level. We have also here Aura and Suunto, wearable technology that measures our respiration, or measures sleep, phases of sleep and so on. So that kind of data that you're not able to kind of sense yourself without these products.
Yeah, in many cases you can't actually see the product. Do you still feel that this is a fashion item?
Well, during the last 10 decades, health and well-being have become like very important and essential cultural values. So it is also, you can also find it in design and fashion, that these kind of products have become to that field. And in a way, fashion has also affected the development of technology. Like here, for example, if you look again, the product, the first versions were very loose, and that's why it was hard to get exact data from muscles. But when the sports fashion transformed into very tight-fitting one, then the technological, it also helped the technological development, because now the sensors are intact with the skin. They have a very close contact, the skin and to the muscles. They keep the sensors kept. It is possible to keep them still where they should be. So in this way, fashion has helped technology to develop.
So in that case, the existence of tight-fitted sports clothes is essential to these kind of products. And if that fashion would have to change to more loose fit, then they would have to think again about their perspective.
Exactly. So fashion, fabric, and technology are closely intertwined in wearable technology, in smart garments like this.
Should we move to the next item? I see you're already going. What kind of challenges do the designers face when they design these kind of products that we see in the earlier display and in here? This is Aura ring, right?
Yeah, here we see Aura rings. The big versions are the old versions, and the smaller are the present versions. And the main challenge is that the designers of wearable technology have told me in designing wearable technology is that they should be small so that they are pleasant to use. They should be comfortable, like for example, Aura's rings. Mikko Latomäki, the designer, has told me that here in Aura's rings they have to be small enough that they don't disturb daily activities of the user. They have to be pleasant. They shouldn't have sharp edges because people are sleeping with them. They're wearing them at night. But also they should be beautiful because they are a piece of jewelry. And still there should be the adequate technology inside, the one that gets you the important data that you need when you're wearing this kind of ring.
So the product itself needs to be well designed, but that's not actually all design that's put into these kind of products. What else is there?
Yeah, we can go and look for another kind of ring that measures your stress level, mood metric, also by a Finnish company. Here you can also see the application that is essential for all these products. The application tells the user what kind of figures do you get, and that technological gadget is not adequate itself, but you also need the application. And we have to remember when talking about designing these items that also the application has the graphic designer, it has a software developer that make this measurement understandable for every kind of user. And there also has to be beauty and clearness also in those graphics.
Yeah, and the information design is in in like central point.
Yeah, graphic design and service design are very important in the wearable technology.
Yeah, and I think that many apps have to be very like, how do you say, itseohjautuva, or you have to know what to do very instinctively. So they have to be very simple, yet they have to like guide you through the app.
Yeah, exactly. And in a way, we earlier talked about fashion and technology. I think these wearable technology items, they very well fit to the long tradition of Nordic and Finnish design, of functional design, where the user is in the center, the purpose of the item is in the center, and they have to fit to your everyday life. And they have to be very clearly designed so that they fit for everyone.
I think that's super interesting. And for example, I have a smartwatch at home, and the problem is I have a small wrist in the average size chart of people's wrists. So it's a little bit too big, and it shows in every aspect when I use it that it's not designed for my body.
Oh yeah, that's an important aspect too, because here in the whole exhibition there are quite a lot of unisex designs. And wearable technology is also usually unisex design, but of course we are in different sizes, and here the trend does have a matter, because women usually are a bit smaller. Suunto that we have here has now very much focused on that aspect, and they have now designed a watch that is meant to be fitting for all kinds of genders. And it's not only about the size, it's also about the colors. They have wanted to pick up the colors that you can also find in the Finnish nature. So they are unisex and gender neutral both by their design, their fitting, and by colors.
Yeah, that's very, very good point, that you have to like cater to need. You have to cater to the unisex kind of, not fashion, but the need for unisex products, but also take into consideration the different bodies and different kind of physical aspects that people just have.
Yeah, exactly. And what also is now important in wearable technology, they have to fit for your everyday life. People don't want other people. It's a kind of contradictory thing that in the way they are a bit luxury items, they are not very cheap, and it's very kind of fashionable to take care of yourself. But on the other hand, users don't usually want other people to see that you are actually measuring yourself and you are tracking your data. So that's why, for example, Suunto, but also other wearable technology companies have developed products that are aimed for, not also for tracking, but also for your everyday life, in the sense that you can use that watch as a regular watch too, and nobody might, like, people may not notice that it's actually a sport watch too that tracks your respiration and heart rate.
It's super interesting perspective to design and both and fashion. I think that's one of the key things that we have been discussing on this tour, about how does the body interlace with fashion, and how does that translate into digital world. But thank you so much, Jenni. And if you would like to give the mic to Elias actually now. So do we have any questions there? Nothing so far. If you have any questions now, we have like super short period of time to ask them, because we are now wrapping up this amazing tour with the 3 curators. Thank you so much for all our speakers and for everyone there behind the screens. And I hope that you get to see this exhibition Intimacy here at the Design Museum Helsinki. We have just opened last Friday, So we have been open for 3 days, and there's plenty of time to see it. And if you missed this tour, you can see it for 2 weeks on our Instagram TV. So if you want to go back and check something out, you can do that. And also, I forgot I'm wearing the mask. Hello, everyone. Do you hear me better now? I think maybe yes. But this is the time of the day. So if you missed this tour, you can still tune in. We have a tour tomorrow in Finnish here at the Design Museum Helsinki, and we are having an online tour in English in Saturday. So, okay, Elias is lifting the finger, so that means we have some questions there.
Yeah, so Seeds and Roots asked that who did the virtual fashion? The virtual fashion, so probably talking about the fabricant.
Okay, I think I'm looking a bit like, what's going on? But maybe you could show that question to maybe Natalia, and Natalia could answer the question. I can borrow you the mic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, so it was by the fabricant, the company, Dutch company, Finnish Dutch company.
Yes, thank you.
Did this answer the question? Or do you want to know more details?
I think so.
That was a specific question, but that's good. And thank you everyone for pushing the hearts and liking the live and giving us comments. And if you have any feedback, you can write them into the Instagram TV comments also, and we try to look them through. And if you have any questions, we're going to ask our curators and go them through later on. But this was it. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a very nice evening wherever you are. Bye.